Hi everyone, this is Aimcom here, and today we are going to deep dive behind the scenes of this Tinker Minter artificial intelligence observatory. All right, and it's built behind the scenes here. It's built with brain.js. I use Chart, React, Redux, Redux Thunk. It's like, anyways, it's for I'm just gonna. I'm not gonna talk about how to build a React app. Um, I'm gonna think that everyone knows how to build a React app, but that's not the case, right? So, for those who don't know how to code or and just fall into this video, I'm gonna try to make it kind of interesting, even though you're not a coder. But I will be auditing, deep diving behind the scenes, how a neural network, artificial intelligence can be put together a bit. Not like the expert like um, Travisy. Travisy, I think, if I pronounce his name correctly. He's a YouTuber and he's got like a little community going, and he's got more discipline in the teaching of React apps, brain.js, using library, all kinds of stuff. So I'm not saying that I'm like the I'm not coder one neither, which I actually watch him, and web dev simplified. All right, he has a few apps, which is pretty cool. If you're a beginner, it would be better off for you to start off with Web Dev Simplified. Try out that project where face recognition, you'll kind of understand how the brain works behind the scene. But I will be talking about it here. And this project has been working. I've been working on this project for 8 months now. So that what happens to a project? It just keeps going bigger and bigger. So I'm not going to start detailing the whole project. It's 8 months of coding, but I will be detailing a tiny portion of it. And I fabricated a new brain here. So it's the green one right here. Okay. I was looking at the blue. I don't know why. The blue is so for beginners, recap, I have three brains: blue, fast; red, medium; and this little fella here is the slow. All right. And these three brains are set up in this fashion. Literally, you got the medium brain, okay, which is the red line. You got the fast brain, which is the blue line, and you got the gray and black line, which is the slow brain. All right. And they're all like taking Binance data, 500 minutes, plus the session that I'm in. So if I'm 30 minutes in, I got 30 extra minutes. So the training data is 530. Okay, just to get that off my chest. So every brain gets that data, gets trained with this learning rate and momentum. Okay, and if you notice, here it's 0.34, here it's 0.44, which is plus one. And here it's 0.24, minus one from this one. So that gives me like three different lines. The brains won't solve the market behavior equally. So I get three lines. One will, the fast brain here um, merges, or it's not the right term to use, surpass the other lines to catch up with the market price in time of volatility. And the market's always in volatility. So as you can see here, the price is up here. The red one here is the Bitcoin latest price, USDT, yes, Binance. And as you can see, he's running after the price faster, right, than the two other brains. I'll explain this line here a bit later. There's what I'd have to do is start her up here quick. There, I'll just go back here because he's alone right now. This is a network line. It actually receives the prediction of the medium brain from the other apps and averages out, and so we can kind of compare brains together. So that's interesting too. But because I need a network for that, I couldn't like just create a static website with that, because if you need a database, it gets more complicated. I gotta, need a database. So I decided to create this brain that acts like a network to bring in, so I can bring in and do some comparison, um, brain to brain, because this is a brain and these three are the brain that I was explaining. Now, this is what I'm going to be auditing today is this brain here that I added to my React app. So, if I have anything more to say before we go behind the scenes, um, yeah, there's an indicator here that maybe at the end I will try to deepen that subject too, which is all the zones. And well, I could start with the zones. As I saying, I got a fast line, medium line, and a slow line. 1, 2, 3, and then these lines could kind of wobble around, right? So what can they do? There's 6 positions they can have with 3 lines, right? And the price could be in 4 spots. Every minute they can be like right now, the brain is under the blue line, right? So, and the small is here, the slow is here, and the medium is here, right? So I call that a zone. And what's that zone? Well, it's zone 8. If it was higher up, it's like I choose. I made it from 0 to 180 as 0 vertical up and 180 vertical down, right? Degrees. So, and the brain's lines are always wobbling from, all the time because of the volatility. Now, the zones, okay, how are they kind of calculated? Like zone 1, first degree vertical is when blue fast, red medium, slow, and the price is on top. That's zone 1. And there's zone 2, which is zone 8. I didn't go like zone 2, 3, 4, 5. I went 180 divided by 24, which is 7.7, 7.5. It's not good. But why 24? Okay, I have 3 lines that could do 6 position. Okay, they could be 1, 2, 3, 1, 3, 2, 1, 1, 2, 3. Yeah, well, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 3, 2. Okay, and flip it, and that's it. So you got to go 2, and then 1, 3, and 3, 1, and then 3, 3, 2, 1, and 1, 2. So if you have zone 1 is totally up, 1, 2, 3. Zone 180 is 3, 2, 1. And all the others are pointed, like the measurement of degrees are, like um, 2 is faster than the medium, and the medium is faster than the slow. So you can give them points, right? So how do I give them points? I don't really give them points. I just give them that degree zone, like 1, zone 8, zone 15, zone, like divide 180 by 7.5. And I need how to say, I got to floor it. So instead of 7.5, I put 8, and so on. So I get this, the position of my brain and how he's looking at the price. And he says, oh, I see it in zone this. Oh, I see it in zone this. Oh, I see it in zone this. I do this on every tick. So then I could actually use this and do some math with 1, 8, 15, 82, because they're actual positions of zones. Obviously, there's more happening inside that zone, which I didn't even exploit yet, you know. But just to balance out the zones, you know. Now my computer went. It's gonna come back. It's because it's working really hard right now. Because we're gonna go behind the scenes here, and we shall go over. I'm right on my the brain that I'm want to talk about. Okay, so it's a big code, but we're going to just stick to this one here. Excuse me. All right, now that I've talked about my zones, I feel like restarting this whole thing. I wonder if I could just audit and cut it out. Start from here. Hi, folks, and now we're right into it. All right, we're into it now. So, a few handles that I create, some array. This one I'll talk about, and this one I'll talk about. And they're both the same thing, the same value. But before I get into that, just the same value. Let's go to this. I create this array, this handle, okay, which is okay, yeah. I create this handle because I'm making a brain. We have to understand this. I'm making a brain for a purpose here. And I'm making it iterate 100 times. Like I make it run through the brain. I make the brain run 100 times. And I'm recording every brain. It runs once, I record it, you know? And at the same time that I run it, like that brain number 1 has a random learning rate and momentum has a random momentum to it, okay? So I run them. I record them. I want to know in those 100 which one targeted the price the closest. Okay, simple, right? So, okay, I recorded them all. Now I need a little code solution to pluck out, who's the winner of that array, right? So this is why I got the same value. And because it's running through a loop here, okay, you can imagine that in here, there's going to be 100 pieces of data, right? All these numbers, the prediction, right? The output. And it's divided by 0.0001 because I normalized it. I normalized the Bitcoin price. You got 5 zeros, create 50,000 or 20,000, right? So to squish it under 0, you multiply it by 0.00001. like 5 times. Like big, like ether would be like 40 point 0.0001. So you got 4 digits behind to squeeze it to the zero. Now, right now, I'm just pushing it back to the original price of Bitcoin. So when it goes into my array, it's all like Bitcoin price. So now I start here. What is my temporary X open? Well, it's coming straight from Binance. Binance gives you 500 pieces of data. I want to go fetch the latest one, which is 499, you know, position, because it starts with zero position. So it's the length minus one. And I push this into this constant array, which is called needle, because needle. I got this on the web here, needle. So okay, I console log that, blah blah blah. My best brain now. What is it? So I take that array, this one, first one, okay, and I sort it. And because I sort it, it gets sorted. It not only gives me out the price, it actually sorts the array. Okay, so the array comes back with the winner on at zero. But I'm recording my brain here, and it's giving me like 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. And if this brain is 17 out of 20 or out of 100, he's going to go to zero, and I won't know. Okay, which brain won? I got the winner, I got the price, but I don't have the brain that came with it. So I really need to know the position. I got to keep the position. I don't, but it helps to have an array with the winner on top, because I actually like use it. Do I use it somehow? Well, anyways, best brain has a value, okay, of the result of the closest price to my needle. All right. And when that's done, best brain has a price. So then I take the other array, which has not been sorted. I'm not actually sorting it here. I'm just iterating through it to compare, to match my best brain and tell me which length it is. What is the I when it happens? And when that happens, instead of set the brain to the local storage, I get it. But I get it and I push it. So this is where this guy comes in. So on the first run, this program does not work. Okay. On the first run, you can leave it, think it, and yeah, I can't remember what I did. I think it works this way, config, right? Or empty. Empty would be like, I think I did it empty, because I'm going to have to redo it because another discussion. So you can config is I configured it up in my code here. Let's we can maybe zoom there. Path. Wow. Right at the top. Okay. These are my configs. Right. I could predetermine some configs that I want. So, right. So let's leave it at that because I ran it already. And on the second run, you can copy paste this in here to get to fetch, to put the winning brain back in. So when the training comes around, it's going to use the bias of the winner. Okay. Now I have to do something because when it runs again, I'm going to put a logic so that it doesn't actually have to do a random anymore, right? Or I could just let it kind of do another random because it's gonna in 100 I get like a really nice array of different momentum and learning rates, and there's always one that does the job, you know. And the thing is that the market, you never know uh, if you need a strong momentum, weaker momentum. You know, the market's so volatile, so touchy. It's even for a brain, even for an artificial intelligence that is learning. He's going to solve it before I do, the market, but it's not solved. It hasn't been solved, you know, because the market is affected by businesses, by people. People are businesses, right? And what are they going to do tomorrow? Oh, I know. My brain knows. Anyone knows. You know, only those who are going to do something are in action. You know, and most of the time, when they're in action, and you go and ask them like, "Oh, your price stock went up. Oh, did it? Oh, I didn't know." Like the owner sometimes is it's another department. You know, the financial department is financial department of business, and then there's the other departments, and the owner is he's probably working on something much different than the market. You know, he's got somebody doing that job, right? So if you ask him, "Hey, well, he's gonna say, "Oh, cool, nice. Oh, it went down. Why? I don't know. We're going up. We're productive, you know." And any stories could happen. Like I'm saying, you know, that's why I think even by law, you can't tell people, "Hey, buy." You know, I know it's going to go up. I know. What do you know? You know, because there's too much math behind it. There's too much. It's been rolling for ages, ages. It's a big wheel. So coming back to our onions, like we say in French, our carrots and our onions. We should talk about the onions and the carrots of someone else's plate. You know, might cut that out. Okay, so learning rate. So I'm putting the new brain, the winning brain, back in, but I'm also extracting it, like putting it into a handle. Okay, so that I could push it into a new array. Right? Right. Let's put things inside a box, right? So I'm just making sure that it stays a number because once in a while, when you start pushing things to array, I notice sometimes it records into a string inside the other array. I didn't figure out React for that yet, but I'm sure I will. But I just make sure that if you multiply it by one, um, it's a number. It's not a string. So it emphasizes the code that it's a number. All right, so I put that in that array. Let's go check this guy here. Okay, now that I put my winner in here, and this array will, you know, every minute it's going to grow and grow and grow and never stop growing. But my charts, I have like 15 minute, I have like 10 minutes, you know. So how do I do that? Well, I filter it through a slice, right? So I create a new handle. I slice, I start and map item, return this equals item. Okay. That would be a bit complicated to understand here. start and end. This is the trick of this whole code of slice. All right. Slice doesn't mean that I break or damage this array. Slice is just take something out. Splice. If you want to literally affect the array you're working in, splice with a P would cut the the data out of that array. But splice, it just splices it out like a movie clip or something, you know. So the trick here is start and end. Okay, what is start and end? Let's deep dive in there. Start. It's a trigger which I use at the beginning of my code. I use it for all my arrays. I know that when I press start the cycle, right? Set interval, yeah. Set interval at 1 minute. Well, every minute this trigger is gonna have 1, 2. So I could use it over and over for all kinds of things. So, and I know that I can match all my arrays together. You know, if one's, I don't want array of 10 and 15 going, I want them all equal, right? So I put that here. And I put the end, same thing, right? Because when my chart starts, okay, the last piece of the array is my first piece on my chart. And then it clips. And then the new piece comes in front of it. So it grows. So my chart grows from left to right. Okay. So there's little principles to understand to how to create these little. So yeah, let's keep breaking it apart here. I got a trigger that, so when I start my interval, you can imagine my end just goes 1 every minute, 2, 3, keep growing, and I do that at the start. So the start does the same thing, 1, 2, okay. So it follows. Now, if start is smaller than grab, what is grab? It's my chart size, 10 or 15. So my default is 5 ticks. Okay, the chart right in the beginning in my use state that I could show it, but it's use state, and it has I could change my state to 5, 10, 15. I could add more coding, hard coding, to add like 20 minutes, 30 minutes, whatever. And I probably will in the future, but yeah. So chart size on default is 5. Okay. So if start is smaller than 5, start equals 0. So the left side of my chart is kind of start, and the end is kind of from the left to the right is my end. Okay. So start stays 0 and end goes on. So I have like end becomes like 1, position 0, position 1, position 2. So it'll kind of grow the array. So the minute my start is not, like if it reaches 10, let's say I put 10, my chart size is 10, it reaches 10, then start is not 10 anymore. Start is the n minus 10. Okay, so because I know that I'm there, I'm at 10. If my chart size is 5, I know my grab is 5. So it's n minus 5, and my start is greater than 5. So it's minus 5. So it goes back to, so to show a bit how that works, see, did this one go? Yeah, this one went. Let's go behind the scenes here. Told myself that I wouldn't like panic on time here because there's so much. Just as in detail, I got so many kind of details to show. If I could just round up all those little details to show and come back, people could kind of have a conception a bit more. So, okay, just get me focused here. I'm talking about my grab. And where was that again? There's a lot of stuff here. Okay, check it out. It's up here somewhere where my brain gets recorded. There we go. So maybe I should. Okay, yeah. Let's check it out here. So I'm not too complicated. Before I open one, there's 5 and 25. Okay, why 5? The default is 5, right? And I've been running for there's 25 arrays, so I could actually click this one, and next minute it'll fill because there's 25 in there. Now, let's take just a kind of 0, 1, 1, 8, 15, 22. Kind of retain that 1, 1, 8, 15, 22. Because if we open this one, 1, 1, 8, 1, 1, 8, 15, 22 is right here. Okay. Yeah, it's right there because you got 15 here. It's not. But this is, I'm not explaining it right. The way it's set up here, I don't know how. Okay, let's see if I open this up. How about if I go with numbers? Here's my zones. I'm going to talk about that in a second here. And my neural network, the brain. So if we go, because it gets clipped. See, the last brain that won was brain 69. The arrays that are not sorted, so brain number 69 is somewhere in there. The brain that is sorted is right here. So brain 69 is literally this first one, 0 here. Okay. And he's the closest, 2707. 20, and my needle is 2708. Okay. This is, I'm searching the closest price to this price here. Okay. And that price there is the latest price of the minute. So I'm maybe like behind right now, like from, it could have been 20708. I wonder if I can catch up with it. Oh, did I do that too quick? Yeah. Yeah, it's somewhere around here. $37, 70837. Yep. So that was my needle. On that tick was brain 69. And before I go, where's my neural network? Too much stuff. There it is. What I want to know is my training data, those two random factors, learning rate, momentum. That was the random that was pushed. And this is the winning brain with that learning rate and that momentum for that tick. Interesting, right? Let's do that again. Just so we're a few more minutes. Okay. I'll find the spot for you folks. I gotta clean up, but not right now. I want to. Here we go. Okay, the last brain was in that array was number 75. So not sorted. So if not sorted, then it would be 2696. It would be 75. That means like three quarters, one, two, about somewhere there. But anyways, the winning brain is right here. 2696 versus my needle, right? So I get a brain, and then I get to see compare learning rate. So okay, I noticed that this one, the momentum. I better not speak too fast, but it seems like there was familiarity, like the numbers were familiar or near. I could actually check. I opened it up like two down. Oh, a little bit there. Well, 90, but it wasn't that one. It was before. There it is. Oh, look at that. It wasn't too far away. 0.90, 0.35. Uh, never know which way to go. I'm lost. Dum 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 dum. Okay. Well, there was another minute that went through. Brain 76, not 75, and 269406 is 9408 9406. So this brain got it like two pennies near. I mean, yeah, it's actually pretty cool to target the price. And I would say that, okay, let's, target the price. Um, the brain. I want to come back here, right here, my brain. I click too high here. Okay, the brain. Click, I make it run 100 times. I figure out, hey, I can get the closest. Who got the closest price? I mean, I could do that with random numbers, right? So what does that? What does it actually? What can it offer as a risk management? Where funny the theory of it, you hit the bullseye by picking up the price on the instant, like minute to minute, you know. But it's still already too late to do anything about that. Like you'd have to have the price beforehand. What would be the price beforehand, and I wouldn't be able to because I use the needle. Remember, I used the price, the latest price, to say which of the So what I'm trying to solve here is I want what's a good learning rate and what's a good momentum for what's happening to the market on the moment. So if I can determine that and extract, if I can visualize what's happening, what's the best price, what's the best learning rate and best momentum, then I could push or use that data to introduce that into my fast brain, my slow brain, my original brain, and that could be interesting, an interesting tweak to a brain. So yeah, I'm going everywhere here. So this is what it looks like. Uh, this whole app after 8 months. Okay, folks, it just keeps on. You keep on adding my reducers. That's where my payloads go, and I build my initialize my charts before it's sent to my app. So I'm just taking a moment here to see any other details that I could um, talk about. I have other videos like I don't talk about much of the configs because I'm not the expert of the expert when it comes to the configs. Um, I have videos where I talk about normalizing. I talked about normalizing in this video a bit, right here. Um, this brain that is set up. Okay, I give it a new neural network, blah, 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 right? That's just a handle for the iteration amount. And 100 is a lot. Like, yeah, you could see that it slows down the front end a bit. Um, this handle here, okay, is the handle that I use for all the same, the input and output structure that comes from Binance. The 500 piece of data plus whatever minute I add to that in time in the session. And this particular brain, if you can see, it outputs the open and it uses high, low, close. So it's different than in the front end. I didn't even talk about this brain here. This guy here does not even exist yet on the blue. But I'm just saying, like, this is not like the brain of the brain, right? For me, it's intriguing how we could build it. And I try to find the best brain of the best price. And you can try maybe use this idea for your own projects, like how to find the best of the best or something, you know. Um, but to actually target the price, I'm still trying to figure out what I'm going to do with this line because it doesn't really offer me anything quite yet, other than maybe I'll study it a bit, like if what it does, like when it's over the price, when it's under the price. But I mean, it's always a new brain, right? I'm choosing a new brain, run 100, pick one out of there, play that again 100 times, pick one out, play it 100 times, pick one. So the structure is fascinating, you know. Um, there's other things I have to do to it because I noticed that it's a very small brain. I have to add some configs to it. Yeah. But okay, that said, And I talked about the zones, right? So the zones are all related to the positions of my lines. And I do have a video that tries to talk about it. And yeah, so there's lots to do yet. Okay, this zone is just the beginning for me. Uh, it's pretty simple. It's like when it goes up, that price goes down, and when this thing goes down, that price goes up. Okay, it's because zero is like zone one is pointing up, right? So when this thing's going to the zero line, the prices it's falling in high zones and not under low zones. Like underneath. Like right now, this is zone probably 180, right? 159. You can't see it, but it's in zone 159, 151, 180, and the lines are all like 1, 2, 3. And here the lines are 1, 2, 3, but the blue went right to the top. So yeah, there's another thing I could do with this line, with those 100. It's not give me the winner, give me the average of those 100. And that could be interesting because that's probably what I need. That's what I did before. I just wanted to try to see if I could find like a best brain in there, but for the learning rate, which is good. But to analyze, I would something versus the price. I would probably take 100 brains, vote me out a price, and give me an average. Right? Study this line of Bitcoin and give me a vote. And then with all your votes, give me an average. And I want to look at that average. I'll make a line out of it, and then I can kind of see how the Bitcoin is evoluting towards it or against it or having a hard time with it because it's its own reflection, right? The brain's using only data piece of that of the price, so it's not using onions or carrots to say, "Hey, this is how I feel." Right? So this is amazing. This is good stuff. And brain.js is good stuff. So, folks, I hope I had a round circle here, but I don't think so. But, anyways, I'm out of here. Until next time. Ciao.